Try It Like It Created, and today I am working with the color cubes from Sarah Renea Clark. I have a card here, number 84, that I've taken out of the cube number 1 box. And so we have a picture of a floral here, and then we have our colors down at the bottom. So in another video, I've already talked about what all the codes and so forth on the back of the card mean and how you can use your cards in your compositions. But here's another option, is to take your card to your printer and print it in black and white. And let's then take a look at the value of those colors. So if you're having a hard time picking out, you know, which is the lightest and which is the darkest on here, I would have said the green was the darkest color, but according to the printout here, it looks like this color here, which they're calling mulberry, is just a tad bit darker. So if I take this and fold it over and look, I mean, they're very, very similar, but either one could be used as the darker color in my composition. The other thing you can do then is take your color swatches and decide, maybe I don't want to work with all of those color swatches. So I went ahead and copied them and printed them out, cut them down small. And so let's say I want to work with a palette of maybe 3 colors. And so I can choose any 3 from the card and they will work together. But I would suggest taking a light and a dark and then picking a medium to go with it for your composition. And you can see here how those colors all work together. I apologize for the striping from my printer, but for this example, I think it works well enough to show you that you could then choose whatever 3 colors you wanted. If you chose, you could see that if you just went with the darks, you're not going to get a lot of activity in your composition because they're all pretty much of same value. So you're going to want to get a light in there, and you're going to want to use a dark, any one of the 3 darks here, and then maybe your median color, which was the pink for this card. So those are some fun ways to kind of decide what colors you want. Now, if you want to use 4, you could go with, 2 darks, a light and a medium. These 2 seem to be very similar in nature, so I might swap out the green and do something like this. Now, you also have the opportunity to work with your shades and your tones by adding white or black to these colors. So that would give you even a broader spectrum to work with. So let's say you just pick 2 colors to work with, and then you can add your white and your black. You could, of course, could do the same with the two of the dark colors, but you were going to have to adjust those a lot more using whites and blacks to give you a range of value in your composition. And looking at your image, if you're just using your image as a guide to what you're going to create, sometimes printing it out and looking at it in black and white can help you decide, what gets to be dominant and what isn't. So you can see here we've got a lot of gray value, not a whole lot in the dark range, and then we have in the lighter range, which if we were to look at the card, you can see color activity wise, there's a whole lot going on. But if we just look at value, you can see that the value shift is towards the dark end of the value spectrum, and that we have some lights in there, but mostly in the mid-range with some areas of dark shadow. So hopefully you find this helpful and another way to use your color cubes.